A friend of mine, right, Dan, who you've met, who's in the other room, and he shut up, right, and his heart was pounding, and in the middle of his sleep he thought, what are we going to ask George Michael? Bang, 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 right? Have you thought about this interview at all? What I'm going to ask?
Everyone presumes that I don't do interviews because I've got loads of things I don't want to talk about, which is not the truth at all. And I've had to reassure people that I'm a big boy, and if people ask me something I don't want to tell them the answer to, or I want to tell them to piss off, that's what I do.
All right. Know? People are obsessed with your sexuality, aren't they?
Of course they are.
Is there a question you'll answer there?
No, I mean, I think it's... I think the whole...
I don't care.
I mean, I think it's far more. I think it's far more of an issue in a way because I don't talk to people in general, right. And I think people seem to really like to talk about it. I totally understand the debate. I have a real strong theory as to why people are so obsessed with one another's sexuality, and because I have that and because I have that belief about it, I see absolutely I feel no obligation to join the debate, put it that way. It's like, I think it's a perfectly understandable question. I have no problem with everybody thinking I'm gay, or some people thinking I'm gay, some people thinking I'm straight, whatever. I think it's totally irrelevant to my life that everyone else is talking about my sexuality, because all the people that I know and care about are perfectly clued in. You know, I mean, everybody knows who I am. So for the sake of people that I never speak to, I really don't feel any desire to define myself, because I'll tell you what I really believe. I believe that we all sit and look at each other. I think every human being constantly questions themselves, questions their own position, whether it be their race, their religion, their sexuality, their looks. We all question ourselves and use other people to define ourselves. And I think that one of the things that is so difficult in the modern world to actually accept is that sexuality is a really, really blurry thing. You know, I know lots and lots of people who I've thought were of one sexual persuasion but turned out to either be the other, or sometimes to be the other, or this or that, whatever. And all I know is that I've never regarded my sexuality as a moral question of any description, or anyone's sexuality as a moral question, other than when it's some kind of twisted sexuality that involves people that do not give their consent, you know. But I personally have never thought that would be wrong, that would be right, that's what I should do, you know. I think most people do regard their sexuality as a moral question, and I think that they look to one another to reinforce their ideas of themselves. In other words, if somebody looks at me and says, I think he's gay, and then next week I make a statement saying I'm gay, right? That guy feels a little bit more secure in the fact that he knew that was my sexuality, whether he's right or wrong, or whether I'm telling the truth or not. People use it. It's like it's the typical old thing, the queen that stands in the gay club pointing out, or stands in the straight club pointing out all the people he thinks are gay. Right? It's like hoping he's right. Now, why is he really hoping that they're gay? He doesn't really. It's like me. People who talk about me, they don't really think that. I mean, there's nothing in it for them. They're not going to go home with me or anything.
They could be right, and that's what you're talking about.
Yeah. In other words, they're saying, I know what a gay person looks like. I know what a straight person looks like. Therefore, and most people, it's in an effort to prove that they are straight themselves, because obviously being straight is the socially acceptable and the most common form of sexuality. But most people most people have some questions at some point in their life, and even if they're very young when they have those questions, whatever they are, they scare the shit out of them. Those questions scare the shit out of them. And one of the ways that they reinforce their own idea of their own sexuality, whatever it may be, is to tell themselves that they can spot it in other people, and that they can spot people who are of different sexual persuasions, right? And that's why you get a huge debate about somebody like me. Because you've got all these guys, for instance, that will, maybe their girlfriend likes me or whatever, and they're like, oh, he's a fairy. You know, it's obvious to me. Now, if they were wrong, if they were proved to be wrong, that would be unsettling for them. If they were proved to be right, that would be comforting for them. That's what I mean. And it is literally as simple as that. I'm right, I know who he is because I know who I am. I know his sexuality because I know mine. Now, I have got absolutely no desire to be that for people. Do you know what I mean? I've got no desire to stand up and define myself to make a whole bunch of people say, yes, I was right, or no, I was wrong, or no, you were wrong. Do you know what I mean?
Is it better for business that you never say whether you're one or the other?
I think a lot of people think that I play with it for that very reason. I don't think it would make any difference to business. I really don't think my sexuality has much to do with my business anymore. I think there was obviously a point where it did have a lot to do with it.
When you were younger,
yeah.
Did you ever realise, or did you ever think that one day you may be grilled about this every time you do a bloody interview?
No, I never did, actually. I never really thought... I mean, I've always been asked about it. I never thought it would reach this kind of a pitch, no. But I obviously knew when I made references on the record, with lyrical references to somebody that I knew that died, a man that I knew that died. And I've absolutely no problem in saying that I loved him very much and he died. I have no problem in writing about that experience. I've got no problem with people reading my lyrics about that experience. I have no problem with the honesty that's there. I have a real problem with this constant need for definition.
You've answered that question longer than any other question.
Oh, of course, because it's a question I have the most time to think about, because everybody asks me it. If there's one question I know is going to come up, it's that. I mean, you've been much more direct about it, but you can almost see people sitting there waiting to for a moment to throw the question in. Where's it going to be received?
So I've got to be honest with you. I've talked to you on the phone twice, and I've met you once before. We had a good long chat for a few hours, and I haven't got a clue, and I also don't care. But it was under the list of what can't I ask you about, and that's why I asked you.
Of course, yeah.
And I don't care.